like 28 events. We are the busiest Discord. Uh,
Yeah, I did them.
oh, I see it. Yeah. Oh, created by Septi. Yeah. Thank you, Septi. Does everyone feel that um, maybe whenever we share like a new event or something that takes place in our Discord, um, would everyone feel okay if we share the Discord link instead of the Google Calendar thing? Like it's just like it'll be like a one step thing instead of like a many steps. So would everyone agree with this change starting this week?
Yeah, I agree. I think it seems more easy to contributors to come and join. I think like the calendar, still like people who already was using calendar, it's like they used to like for example myself. I look at the calendar every day, so I. But then for contributors, I think it's yeah, if better to give them a link and then they just join there at the right moment.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Okay, so starting today, let's try to share Discord links instead of Google. And so let me jump into the content planning spreadsheet. Uh, so okay, um, let's start with some of the content that we're gonna be sharing for this week. And uh, do we uh, do we have just uh, debates, or do we have any other Param parties for this week scheduled?
Uh, it's not a pram party, but there's a video that Griff made on
Uh huh.
Gitcoin that was so cool,
Oh
and
yes.
I also edited that. And then Tam tagged me and you on an issue. Like, could we get that? Like, I posted it on YouTube, so and edited. Like, Griff was telling me like it would be better like if the end was at the beginning, at the beginning, at the end. So I just switched that part. And yeah, maybe I mean there is a very nice piece of content, and I don't know like if we want to promote it or not. Like I feel like you two, if you have like some minutes, like just check it out and then you decide because you are the comms expert.
Yes, I was just watching that one, but I can remember if it was in the Stewart channel or the Com channel.
I can give you a
Uh,
link.
but okay, perfect. This is gonna be the edited version, right? Or
Yeah, yeah.
okay,
The video is on the Gitcoin and the edited version is on TC. So I will give you the TC link.
okay, perfect. Um, okay, about the comments upgrades. So should we be sharing maybe some evergreen content for this week? Just picking up on that.
Can you repeat it? I didn't hear.
It's about the comments upgrade. Should we be sharing any evergreen content this week, or has anybody seen any maybe like relevant, more updated forum posts about it? Or because on top of my mind, I can think of this great piece by Katie that she wrote, but I can but I was wondering if there was something just more updated or more recent in the forum about uh, any novelties around the comments upgrade. Um,
Not that I know. I mean, I feel like right now is Param debates, debates, debates. Let's build this. Go time.
okay. Okay. So today, Zero, would you agree that maybe we can do like a 50-50 on parties and debates?
Uh, Sorry, on parties and debates.
Yes, just you remember that last week we had like I would say that at least there was one tweet per day that was related in some way to the Param parties.
Yeah.
So what if this week we try to like divide like in a 50-50 that effort so that we can say, okay, have you heard about Param parties? We're still having those. Here's the calendar you can attend. But if you already went to a Param party and you would like to join the debate, I don't know, maybe like some. Do you like do you have fun or are you into politics or something? Then you would enjoy a Param debate, right? So maybe we can split like the effort of this week, promoting half Param parties and the other half just following the narrative of remember everything that happens in Param parties is gonna eventually get to a debate. So if you already have like an idea of step one or step two, like come join us in a debate. Um, that that's like your next step or something, right? Um, maybe let me. I'm gonna start drafting some of these in the in the spreadsheet, uh, and maybe we could. Oh, hey Angela, welcome. I didn't see that you were here. GM. Um, Okay, so just to put you in context a little bit, during this call, we discussed what's going to happen in our Twitter during the week. I was inviting you to join because the idea is for you and Anna to start, uh, um, like establishing some of what's going to go in the T Academy team for starting to handling and supporting their comps as well. So maybe you'll end up having like a call like this, like an hour per week, eventually, so that you can have like planning during the week. So I wanted to invite you so that you could take a look at how like the dynamics are. And thankfully, we already have Discord events this week. So if you go to the event that we're in right now, you can find the link to the Twitter Sync agenda, which is a Google document. Uh, and yeah. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask us.
Okay. Where can I find that?
It's in the. If you go to the. Oh, let me see. Okay, if you go to the top right, there's this new button called Create and View Events. If you see the Live Now event, it's the weekly Twitter sync. There's a link to the agenda right below it.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Zero, did you want to add something?
No, I found it. I found it.
Chewy, I'm sorry because my internet connection is really bad. So I want to take it to say what I want to say. And is that this week we end the Graviton training. So yeah, this will be the end of these recurring tweets. And it's the 10th Graviton training. So yeah, I think that what I can do is to update the row number 7, and with that we will finish the Graviton training twitters. And for the NBC book club, we are going to go on chapter number 9. Those are the tweets that I wanted to share.
Perfect, Juanca. Just the only thing that I would ask you, like, if you could, maybe I'll help you with that. I'm gonna copy paste row 7 to row number 2 because it's mostly happening tomorrow. Okay, yeah. So if you could draft it in row number 2 instead of modifying number 7, uh, that would be great. In Angela, also to put you in context so that you don't lag behind. You can find the spreadsheet that we're talking about in the agenda that you clicked on, it says relevant links. The second link, the TEC Twitter content planning document, is the spreadsheet where we draft our some of these tweets. So yeah, just to put you a little bit more in context. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna draft a tweet uh, for the Param debates this week, and if I'm gonna add some extra rows, and if anyone wants to jump in and work in drafting some of this, feel free to do so.
Q, I could help out with that. If you could just give me like one example or something like that, I'm sure I could help out with it.
Yes, of course. Let's start with that. Let's see. Okay. I'm gonna like add some context in row number 4. So I'm gonna describe in row number 4 what the Param's debates are, and then for row number 3, I'm gonna draft another one um, for promoting just the Param parties without getting into Param debates.
Okay.
Okay, and so I'm gonna move this one to the top. So 10th and final Graviton training session. Okay. Hey, Dragadas, GM.
Hey, how's it going?
Great. If you need to just access some documents to see like what we're working on, we now have it in Discord events. So if you go to the top right, you're gonna see a new button called Create and View Events. The Twitter sync has a link to the agenda right there. And inside that agenda, you can also find the link to the Twitter spreadsheet.
Are you talking about the comms text channel?
No, it's like a new button. Like if you go above and to the right, there's this new
Create and
button
view
called
events.
Create
Oh,
and View
cool.
Events. Yeah.
Oh, that's really neat.
Yeah.
So weekly Twitter sync. Oh, that's actually kind of nice. Especially because I don't do anything. I don't do anything but Discord. So like, unless it's in here, I won't be able to find it. So like.
Yeah, like in One Hive, they don't have many like recurring events. They have like 5 events per week in their calendar. So
Right.
I even suggested like get rid of the Google Calendar. Let's just use Discord. It might be a challenge for the TEC, but hopefully once they enable recurring events, we can take the same steps. Okay.
Can I just ask, because I think I feel a little bit out of touch with the comms folks these days. So did we ever adopt any of the stuff that I was talking about, like the who what matrix and things like that? I was trying to offer up some of my processes for the use of the overall DAO, but I didn't know if we'd ever adopted any of that. Plus, I'm also happy to let you guys have access to my elements.envato.com stuff. So, you know, I've already given Acid Laser some access to those things, but I just wanted to make it more widely available, and maybe we could even shift it over to being something that, you know, that it's a yearly cost. It's like $125 or something. It's not that much. So maybe the Comms DAO could, you know, use that. Anyway, it's my favorite stock photo thing. So I just thought I would suggest that. And I don't know what our agenda is. I'm sorry, I've just popped in here, but just wanted to ask.
No, it's fine. It's this is great. I'm actually using a lot of the kinefin. I mean, of course, you completely dominated. And I've listened to you during the gravity sessions, and then we had that one-on-one call. So I'm integrating that as part of like explaining new contributors. It's like, okay, this is the framework that like so that you're not lost all the time. So I'm including that in the proposal for the whole working group. However, this like about stock and more directly related to design, I'll make sure to talk to Asset Laser because right now I'm including all of those like expenses in the proposal, like HubSpot fees and all of this. Like it's being included in like a general budget. So I'll make sure that if we can provide this service for the graphic designers that we have on board, I feel that it could be great.
Plus, I already have about 20 plus gigs of stuff I've downloaded in my Dropbox folder. So that's all stuff that I just have, and can be used by anyone. If you want the link, I can provide it, or we can move it to a central location if you like those files I've already downloaded.
I'm thinking like I don't know if you've gotten a chance to see the. Hey, sorry, my dog is misbehaving. I don't know if you've had a chance to check the threads under the comms channel. I started some threads on what the teams are gonna be. So we have so far like 5 different teams, which are like the units that are gonna be under comms once we have the comments upgrade. Actually, I had you in mind like as a like for now the title was like security advisor for HubSpot. So that's the role that you're gonna be helping us with. But if you feel that there are other places like let's say like animation and video production, I feel that they could use a lot some of these materials. So feel free to join any of these threads, and if you would like to submit any material that could help us. Yeah.
I did look through there, but I found myself kind of confused as to how to follow that thread. That's why I kind of was asking the question. So I apologize if it's. I don't want to take
No
over
worries.
your meeting. So
No, it's fine. It's actually like something that I want to pick up on tomorrow for the comms call. But I didn't want to start this week without making sure that everyone catches up with. Okay, this is how it works. Bless you, Caesar.
Oh, sorry about that. I didn't know I was muted.
No worries. I hope you're fine. Okay, so for covering the comments upgrade, does anybody have like any idea of what evergreen content we can use, or something that you feel could be important to raise during this week? As I said, I feel that Katie's article would be great, but if anybody have any other suggestions.
That video I mentioned before, yeah, it's Griff talking about, like why
Oh,
TC,
yes, yes, yes.
yeah, and then he also talks about Give It, but he also talks about like this culture of commons, but then he says like why TC first, and yeah, how all these params are interacting. So, yeah, I think it's a very cool content like we could promote.
Okay, so this is row number 2 now. Septi, would you like to help us with drafting drafting this part? I'll support you for reviewing it.
Yeah.
But just so that everyone can maybe take some of the draft.
Yeah, that'd be fun to enjoy with the Twitter crew. Yeah, I'm totally up to. I need some guidelines though.
Let's see.
So, can I just ask or maybe make a comment?
Mhm.
I help companies design marketing and communications departments. That's a thing I do. So, like, I don't know if just my talking about HubSpot or things. I don't know. I mean, I know that's kind of your role in a way, but I'm just saying that this is a thing I do professionally, and so I just want to just put it out that I didn't know if you guys understood. I think I've even written, sort of documentation on how to do this and stuff. So if that's thing that you'd like to maybe have a one-on-one with me or review or whatever, I'm okay with that too. I'm just sort of letting you know that that's yet another thing that I've been involved in professionally. So putting it out there.
You probably can help us a lot when once we start advice process for the funding proposal. Um, but yeah, definitely they're gonna like. I would like if you ask me, I would love if eventually you could be involved as the project manager for one of the teams. Um, so yeah, I mean it's gonna be much more open for these experiences. So in the end, like I
Cool.
feel that it's gonna be enriched by whoever wants to jump in, like to contribute. So we
Of
have, for
course.
example, like some brand managers. Arvin has a lot of experience with brand management.
Hmm.
I barely have any experience with that, so we
Right.
all have a lot to learn from his experience. So that would be the focus that I would love to push for comms.
Yeah, I'm a little less. I'm more on like the construction of the brand and some of the actual like you know uh, what do you want to say, identity and this kind of thing, and like and technical processes underneath that connect to the business, but not so much like PR or that type of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, so that's kind of a whole nother set of things that I have not done. That's very involved in and of itself. Social media management, I'm also not that good at, but on the stuff that kind of goes before that, I've done most of that, right, and not the stuff that kind of comes after. So just FYI.
Should we use the same calendar for Param Parties? I mean, some people already have access to it, so it might be a good idea if we use the same calendar for the debate. Would everyone agree on this? I'll take it as a yes. But if anyone says no, like now would be the perfect time.
So we're maybe just saying that now that the Params parties are winding down, we're gonna take that calendar over and rename it and use it like that. Is that what you're saying?
I feel that this week is gonna be like a hybrid because this week we're still gonna have some Param Parties. But yeah, like probably next week it's just gonna be like around debate. So this week we're gonna be like 50-50 covering parties and debates. So uh, like the narrative that we're gonna follow is that so you've been to a Param party. This is the next step. So like in a way, we want to take like any audience who engages like by the hand and tell them like, okay, this is the next step. And if you haven't been to one of these, you can still like come to a Param party. should we tweet? Oh, Septi, you're still here. Do you think we should tweet like anything about the Discord calendars, or should we test it for this week, see how it works, and maybe push it for next week?
Yeah, I was talking to Tam about these events, and she was telling me like, yeah, maybe we can try out this week, see how it goes, and then yeah, I think it would be better like if we just give it a week of see how it goes, and so also how people adapt. I mean, I think it's cool. Like I don't know like if everyone, but I'm receiving notifications all the time like, oh, this meeting is happening now in this room, and yeah, it feels like yeah, it's nice. But yeah, I would wait a week. Like, I mean, yeah, that's my opinion.
I have a question related to Twitter.
Shoot it.
Yeah, I just I do feel like we kind of act like Twitter is the only social media that exists. So like, I do wonder if we're have anywhere on our roadmap about acting like other kinds of social media exist. So,
Angela actually had great initiative on that.
oh, good.
Yeah, I think she has more experience in managing like Instagram and TikTok and all of this. Like personally, I'm very curious to see how that could work because I'm just like not that familiarized with this. Um, so yeah, the idea is just like start expanding. Like HubSpot is gonna be like a great first step for people that can like catch up with Twitter. Twitter right now has been very helpful to engage with more with like newer audiences, and at the same time like knowing who these audiences are. I really miss David's analytics corner because of that. It was very illustrative. Um, but yes, like in the near future, if there are more platforms, this definitely is something that should stay in our radar. Um, I know that you've talked about Quora before. Um, so yeah, this would be like another example of like, hey, let's maybe like start something like a plan for Quora. Let's test it for like a couple of months, see how it behaves, see how many people gets attracted, and how can we integrate like all of the social media. So yeah, definitely, I'm this is what I'm more excited about, like for having more contributors so that we can diversify in this kind of stuff because yeah, like right now, if we split efforts between Twitter and another platform, I feel that like we wouldn't be able to offer it like to focus in on how Twitter has been giving us some of these results. But I mean, having more contributors and people that can think on comms, it's definitely a next step towards diversifying your platform.
Well, and I'd like to address exactly that concern. So, if you think about it in 3 layers, right? So if I write so there's a couple of things. One is if I start a space called token engineering, right, where people can ask token engineering or just general crypto questions. You know what I'm saying? Like call it crypto corner or whatever, and then have sections. It's essentially like a Medium post or a blog post. But the thing is that Quora has recently monetized their spaces. So the more popular uh, hang on just a second. Then so we would get some monetization. Of course, it's some reputation management and things would sort of build up over time. I myself have almost 5,000 answers and 2.5 million views on that. Just me, right? So I'm just an individual. If we had all the experts, people would come for that, and then there would be some monetization. But then we can always repost that content on Twitter, and so I think it would be sort of a force multiplier if you did it in the kind of way that I'm sort of talking about. So just a little FYI about the structure of that you might not have been aware of previously. But yeah, I guess my point was I didn't think it would be a effort splitting thing is really the point I was trying to make there. For I think a little bit of extra
I'm
effort.
sorry, they're gonna. What was that?
I was just saying that I didn't think it would be a effort splitting sort of thing. I think it would be a way to create content for Twitter and yet still leverage things so it wouldn't take, twice the amount of effort to but we could, maybe sort of fold those efforts into each other so you'd have content, monetization, and then, content you could then focus toward Twitter. So that was my point about that.
Okay, so like in like what you're saying is instead of like having like different teams assigned to different efforts, have like a common ground in which these can like share resources. Uh,
Well, I mean, Quora has these things called spaces now, so I would suggest that we'd create or piggyback onto an existing, Quora space of somebody that we already know, you know. Of course, if we do it ourselves, then we can monetize that space. So the more people then come to us as a resource, that actually helps us in terms of funding and so on, and then establishes reputation. But the answers that we write about these questions then can get posted to Twitter as a content mill. Do you know what I'm saying? So people would be asking questions, and then we have experts to answer those questions, and then we just retweet the the thing, and so we get like a triple effect on that. We get the monetization, the content, the reputational aspects, and then the ability to tweet it all in one thing. And then so that was the reason why I was making this suggestion, because Quora recently changed from monetizing people who ask popular questions to monetizing things which are inside of spaces. And so, yeah.
okay, I see. So having like some kind of like cross content flag for, I mean, it could also apply to Twitter, right? It's like, hey, someone raised this issue and it was like answered in a very cool way. We could
That's right.
use this to generate content with Quora and vice versa.
That's right. So yeah. So
Okay.
my point is, not only would we post cool things, right, about that, but then we the things that we're posting, we just repost to get people to come to Quora where that stuff is monetized. I don't know what monetization, if any, happens in Twitter, but Quora definitely has that. So that's why I was making that suggestion. So just speaking for myself also, I just find it easier to write content when a person has a question that I have an answer to. Do you know what I mean? So it might actually be a great thing. And it also drives engagement since a person already has a question and we have the foremost experts in the world on this thing in the token engineering commons. It would seem to me that we could gain quite a lot of reputation and other things. So it would perhaps the hardest thing in this thing is to have a content creation engine, and I find that Quora is very effective in terms of uh, providing good prompts for content creation. So all of those things considered together, I just thought it was a good suggestion.
Okay, so Quora could be just like summarizing it in a sentence. Like Quora could be a content creation tool based on the information that is like interacted with within the platform.
Yeah, so I'm basically
Well,
suggesting that we plant a flag there saying, we're the world's foremost experts on all of this token engineering stuff. And then people will come and ask questions of us and we'll answer those questions inside of our own space, which is monetized. And then our answers can then be recycled and reused. And we can even strategize to say, we want to answer certain kinds of questions because they're relevant for what's going on now, right? So, so they could be technical questions, they could be cultural questions, they could be other, types of questions. And then my point is about that is there's a little share button at the bottom of every one of those things, and people are then going to share it within their social spaces, not just Twitter, right? So so we could share that information, but also other people would then tend to share our expert level stuff too, right? And so it might be a thing that could magnify the reach of on Twitter, and then establish reputation within not only Quora itself but also um, other social media things.
Angela, are you familiar with Quora?
No.
Okay. What could be like the best place to start Durgadas? Like if Angela wanted to just like take a look and try to get a grasp of how Quora works, do you have like some content like 101s, like this is what it's for, this is how you navigate the interface? Just I don't know,
Yeah,
it's
I
what's
can show
coming on
you. I
top of
mean,
my mind. But
yeah, I have 5,000 answers on that, and so yeah. So I've done that quite a lot, but it's recently changed. Um, so so the monetization side of it, I've just not had the bandwidth to. I just basically said, please monetize all of my answers. And since I'm at 2.5 million views now, I wish that had been done a lot easier, a lot earlier, because then maybe I'd have some revenue myself. But I haven't even checked on if I'm making any revenue out of it. So the revenue parts of it, that's something that I have to investigate with you guys. But they have an advanced stats engine and everything, which is really kind of amazing, right? So
Is it like
happy to give a tour.
Is it like the Quora, the website Quora for questions and answers?
Yes, that's the one.
Okay, I see.
Never mind. I know what it is.
Oh, you have it?
Zero, how do you feel about row number 5? And should we look for a meme for this, considering that Laser isn't his last day of vacation today?
For a meme?
Yeah, like should we try a like a meme, or do we
I
have
could make
any
one. Yeah.
also, I haven't checked how the meme party went last Friday. Let's see it. No, there's no new content, but yeah, it's mostly
I
about
make
the
a meme.
rewards board.
I I'll
Yeah,
send
if
them.
you
I'll
could come up
post
with
them.
something, yeah, great.
Uh, this should
Maybe
be
use the
posted today,
American
right?
chopper argument. I love the meme with the American chopper argument. Yeah, maybe they could be fighting like about token saw or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the right forum, but I'm happy to just share my screen and show you my own my own stuff, and how I've done it.
Please do.
Okay. Okay, so so I have some spaces, but I've not done anything with it. But you can see under my username here, I've got all of these things, so people can message me directly. You can do certain amount of ads, and then you can say, in terms of monetization, you can say, here are the spaces that I'm, the owner of. And because I had created this thing like years and years before they started monetizing any of it, right? Then you can see like the monetization overview and and the help and so on. And then I can go to my to my Quora stuff to see what it's done. I can manage my my monetized content. How do I decide? Blah blah blah. Plus, I've got I've also got the ability to go and say my content and stats, and you can see in terms of for the last 30 days, how many views that I've had, how many upvotes, and so on. I can also click on all time, and you can see, how many upvotes and so on, and that's true of all types. So if I wanted to say answers, how many answers did I in terms of content, you know, and you can do all this sorting. And if you wanted to see how well have we done for the last year, do you know what I mean? Blah blah blah. So all of this is actually quite quite nice. And then you can look at your bookmarks and so on. You can also just look at all of the content that you've ever put in, right? So you can look at, like, I have 4,800 answers total, right, over however many years. I haven't asked very many questions, but yeah, these are the things that I post. These are the number of people following me, who I'm following, and so on. So yeah, so it's actually pretty good, and I think the statistics and all of the analysis and everything are all kind of just built right into the interface, versus like in Facebook you've got to have like a business account or whatever. There's all this other nonsense you have to do, and I think Twitter is kind of the same in that sense. Whereas, it assumes that you want to know all the numbers and everything behind what you are doing, and it's all very easily accessible under one single menu. So, of all of the terms of management, it actually is pretty easy, right? So yeah, it's easy also to figure out what kind of content is, getting views, right? So some of my more popular answers tend to be about like Kundalini awakenings, for example. So I wrote more content about Kundalini awakenings because people were really interested in that, right? So, so that's kind of what. And I'm talking about spirituality here almost all exclusively, right? That's almost everything that I'm talking about on Quora. That's been my thing, and for me, that was the way I established some reputation, and I met a bunch of people. Some of my long-term students that I've been working with for 7 to 10 years all came from, me meeting them on Quora, right? So then we started with direct messages, and then moved into Skype or whatever, right? So that's kind of how I've been using it up to now. But that's me as an individual without a website, without a business to run or anything, right? So if we were to start up like a single user, then we could create a space, for token engineering. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see, what things show up here, right? Who's actually answering questions like this, right? And I don't know any of these people, but maybe that doesn't mean anything. But the fact is that I don't see Griff, I don't see Zargum, I don't see Vitali, I don't see these people on here, and so it could be, and you can see, like, look at this. The very first thing you talk about in token engineering is, yeah, people asking if it's a scam, and it just seems like somehow wrong, to just have people not be able to get answers to those questions in terms of that. This is a bit more of a long form thing too. Like some of the answers that I write are 10,000 words, right? So I can really so it's not just that I have a lot of answers, it's also very deeply expressible, and you could even use it as a blog if you wanted to. So before they became spaces, that's the way a lot of people used them, was kind of like a blog. So, questions?
I have a question. It's a little bit unrelated to the information part of it, but I mean, eventually it'll come up, or someone will bring it up. Does monetization work with PayPal or something like this? Like, I mean, it's definitely not a priority, but just so I can get like the whole picture. In case there would be some kind of like monetization, um, would it be like in a PayPal account? Would this be controlled by an individual? How would these funds can eventually get to the funding pool? Just to keep it in the frame, but it's, I mean, I know that it's
Yeah,
not like a relevant question. That there are much more benefits to Quora, but just
yeah.
wondering.
No, it's a good point, and I actually kind of showed it to you. I kind of brushed by it there. So if you look at the monetization overview here, I've got to figure out whether or not this is eligible or whatever, right? And then if I go back, if you look at my own monetization, I think I don't use this very much because I haven't really cared that much about the monetization side of it. But I think I mean, it's not we're not talking about a lot of money here. I have a lot of answers. Like, I mean, there are some people that have almost twice as many answers as me, and I don't know how they do it, but I know that. Sorry, I showed it to you earlier, and now I can't find it again. There we go. So yeah, so I think because this just happened in the last couple of months, I've really only earned like $2 out of this. So, and then you can. Sorry, I had a cough there. You can actually see where I could open this banking and payouts thing, and then I would set up how to do it. So I think they use Stripe for their payouts. So I could set that up, and then I haven't, I haven't bothered to do that yet, but it actually seems to link to that, and then you would just put it to an email. I don't know if we're monetizing anything else we do, or if we have an email address, but I want to figure all that out in terms of if we're going to create like a special email address for Quora, then I would want to probably pay it to that, and then have a Stripe account or some method by which we can get money into that, right? And take whatever it is that we're doing and convert it over, maybe even into crypto or whatever. So I don't know if there
Septi,
are.
are there any frameworks that we have for that? Maybe it could be a great question. Like, what if we
Yeah.
monetize platforms? Um, I mean, probably someone has raised it by now already, but I was just wondering if you had any more like updated information how this kind of stuff would work.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think we should like, I think, yeah, it should be a topic like we should discuss on that list next transparency call. Or like, for example, like in library, we have, like, the last time I checked, like 3 months ago, we have like 50 packs because library, right? I mean, it's there, like, and yeah, I think like it should be an income for the commons, or I don't know, like, I don't know if, yeah, but yeah, I'm totally agree. Like, we should discuss it. Like, and yeah, maybe that's one of the inflows we're looking for. Like, when we're talking in the, like, the commons pool, we always, like the other day, like Juan was saying, like, we need inflows. Yeah, maybe that's one inflow we have, right? If we do it
Yeah.
right.
Well, and I mean, they do talk a lot about, when you're an entrepreneur, about having multiple streams of income, right? So I think we've been so focused on creating our own token economy. I'm not, and I think it's actually part and parcel of the comms work to be able to leverage our knowledge. Because, I mean, if you think about it, we have not only the cultural thing and not only the technical thing, but we just have like a tower of expertise in people. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it is astonishing when you look at the brain trust we have in here. And it seems to me that there should be some people inside of that who would be willing to sort of speak on behalf of the token engineering commons and have the content that they're creating sort of monetize on behalf of the token engineering commons, as opposed to maybe monetize on their own, right? That may even be something as a way to sort of establish their reputation in terms, or confidence in terms of that type of thing. And having like, to create a platform for that would be useful. So let me give you an example. When I'm talking about my yoga studio, right? One of the things that I'm actually doing is, because I have a building for rent, and I have a piece of software that's going to enable me to rent the building and promote events and stuff. One of the things I'm going to do is offer a surcharge that I would charge people to use my ability to promote their event at my site, right? And so you could do a similar kind of situation for participants in the token engineering commons. So if you give them a platform on which they could, you know, establish their reputation or promote themselves as an expert in a particular thing, this might be useful. So I don't think we should ignore this part of the social media equation, right? In terms of giving a platform to our members who may or may not feel confident about that type of thing.
Yeah, totally. I really agree with you, Durgaras.
So yeah, I mean, just in terms of the comms DAO as an overall thing, being able to construct platforms that can be monetized or can be reputationalized, if you know what I'm saying. Like, because a huge amount of the reason why I started writing things on Quora was not only to be able to put words to the things that I had experienced in terms of my spirituality and create that sort of practice. That's certainly a benefit for people who participate in that. But the other part was just to be able to establish my reputation as somebody with an authentic voice in that space. You know what I mean? And I think other DAOs that we go into, there are going to be a lot of people inside of those DAOs who are looking to do a similar kind of thing, right? And you can see it like for example, in 40 Acres DAO that I'm participating with now, if we offered comm services to them, we would be then giving people like Russ Live and others a forum in which to harness and to generate their own voice. And I actually think this is a thing that we as a comms DAO could offer as a service.
Especially if it applies to other projects. Like that gets me really excited. Like what other communities might need is not going to be the same. Actually,
Right.
Angela got this idea like started because like I like it makes completely sense. Like for the Token Engineering Academy, like giving them a communication services where we take in account like Instagram and TikTok. I mean, it's huge for education, right? And education has a lot of presence in these platforms, but we're really not like familiar or experienced with this. Uh, so yeah, it's not even like inside the spectrum of the TEC, but like what works for other communities that we can provide and that can integrate with what we are already doing.
Right.
So yeah, thank you for this. Oh, sorry, I just realized we're at the top of the hour, so if anybody has to leave, that's fine. I'm gonna finish drafting something for a couple of minutes, and then I have to jump to another call. But thanks everyone for being here.